You know that feeling when you walk into a room and instantly start reading it? Not just the words people are saying, but the pauses between them. The tension someone is hiding behind a smile. The small shift in energy after one sentence lands wrong. And while everyone else seems relaxed, you're already 10 thoughts ahead, predicting outcomes before they happen. There's a certain kind of man who spends most of his life quietly observing instead of fully participating. Not because he doesn't care, usually because he cares too much. He notices patterns people don't notice. He remembers things other people forget. And over time, he learns something strange about himself. The more clearly he sees people, the less understood he feels by them. Most people interpret this kind of man in very simple ways. Quiet, detached, intimidating, overthinking, too serious, hard to read. But underneath those labels is usually someone whose mind never fully stops processing. Someone who learned early that understanding the world deeply does not automatically make living in it easier. That's one of the strange things about highly intelligent men that rarely gets explained correctly. People often imagine intelligence as an advantage that solves problems, but in reality, it often creates entirely new ones. Because intelligence is not just about being smart, it's about sensitivity to complexity. And the human brain was never designed to carry endless awareness without consequence. Research in neuroscience has found that people with higher cognitive processing tend to show increased mental simulation activity. In simple terms, the brain keeps running possibilities in the background, even during ordinary moments. While someone else experiences a conversation as a conversation, a highly intelligent person may also be unconsciously analyzing tone, future implications, emotional inconsistencies, social dynamics, and hidden meaning all at once. It's not intentional, it's automatic, which is why many intelligent men become mentally exhausted long before they become physically tired. Their nervous system rarely gets a break from interpretation. And eventually, this creates the first struggle. They find it hard to fully relax around people, not because they dislike people, because their mind stays alert even in safe situations. A lot of this begins earlier than people realize. Many intelligent boys grow up being praised more for performance than emotional expression. Adults notice that they're mature for their age. Teachers expect them to understand things quickly. Family members lean on them emotionally because they seem calm and capable. But something subtle happens when a child becomes the smart one. He slowly learns that being valued is connected to being useful, composed, or insightful, not necessarily emotionally honest. So instead of expressing confusion, fear, loneliness, or vulnerability, he learns to analyze those feelings instead. That adaptation looks impressive from the outside, but internally it can create distance between the mind and the emotional self, which explains another quiet struggle. Highly intelligent men often understand emotions better than they actually feel them. They can explain human behavior beautifully. They can give advice to everyone around them. They can see exactly why someone acts the way they do. And yet when it comes to their own emotions, they often go blank. Not because they have no feelings, because they learn to intellectualize feelings before fully experiencing them. Psychologists sometimes call this emotional overregulation. The brain stays in interpretation mode instead of emotional processing mode. And over time, this can make relationships feel strangely lonely, because being understood intellectually is not the same thing as feeling emotionally seen. Another difficult part is that intelligent men often notice contradictions that other people comfortably ignore. They see when social rules don't make sense. They notice performative behavior quickly. They pick up on manipulation faster than most people. At first, this sounds like a strength, but eventually it becomes tiring to constantly see beneath surfaces. Sometimes ignorance really does create emotional simplicity, and highly intelligent people rarely get to experience that simplicity for long. There's also the problem of expectation. The world tends to assume that intelligent men are naturally confident, but intelligence and confidence are not the same thing at all. In fact, highly intelligent people are often more aware of uncertainty than average people. They can see multiple perspectives at once, multiple risks, multiple possible failures, which means their mind naturally questions itself more. Meanwhile, people with less self-awareness may move through life with far more certainty simply because they perceive less complexity. That's why some intelligent men appear hesitant or reserved. Not because they lack capability, because their brain automatically calculates consequences before action. And after enough life experience, many of them become deeply cautious with people. Not cold, cautious. They've often experienced what it feels like to be valued for what they provide mentally while feeling emotionally invisible at the same time. People come to them for answers, for guidance, for stability, but rarely ask how they're actually doing beneath all that composure. So they learn to carry things privately. Another struggle almost nobody talks about is boredom. Not surface-level boredom, existential boredom. Highly intelligent men often crave depth, meaning, challenge, or emotional honesty in environments that reward repetition and performance. And when the external world feels shallow for too long, the nervous system starts disconnecting emotionally. This is why some intelligent men appear emotionally numb during periods of life where nothing intellectually or emotionally stimulates them. It's not laziness, and it's not arrogance. The brain simply struggles to engage with experiences that feel empty of meaning. But there's a paradox hidden inside all this. The same mind that protects them also isolates them. Their ability to analyze people helps them avoid disappointment, but can also prevent closeness. Their emotional control helps them survive difficult environments, but can slowly disconnect them from vulnerability. Their intelligence helps them predict danger, but sometimes steals their ability to stay present. And perhaps the hardest part is this. Many intelligent men secretly feel alien in ordinary life. Not superior, just different. Like everyone else, received an instruction manual for connection that they somehow missed. So they adapt by becoming highly independent. They spend more time alone. They retreat into work, ideas, routines, or inner worlds. They become self-contained because self-containment feels safer than misunderstanding. And to be fair, some solitude genuinely helps them think clearly. But prolonged emotional isolation changes the nervous system. Humans regulate emotionally through safe connection. Even the most intelligent mind still needs warmth, trust, and emotional safety. Intelligence does not remove human needs. It only changes how those needs get hidden. And this is important to understand. None of this makes someone better or worse than anyone else. Different nervous systems adapt differently. Some people move through life emotionally first and intellectually second. Others experience the world through analysis before emotion ever enters the room. Neither is wrong. They simply come with different strengths and different costs. Highly intelligent men often bring incredible depth into the lives of others. They notice things most people overlook. They think carefully before speaking. They question ideas instead of blindly following them. They can hold complexity without immediately collapsing into judgment. But many of them quietly carry exhaustion nobody sees. The exhaustion of always thinking, always processing, always understanding more than they can comfortably explain. And sometimes what they need most is not more advice, just relief from feeling abnormal for the way their mind works. Because the truth is, their experience makes sense. A brain that constantly searches for patterns will naturally struggle to switch off. A person who learned early to survive through awareness will naturally find peace harder to access. A man who spent years being valued for intelligence may naturally struggle to believe he can be loved without performance. None of that is failure, it's adaptation. And once that becomes clear, something inside usually softens. Not because all the struggles disappear, but because they finally stop feeling random. There are reasons certain people feel deeply disconnected in a noisy world. There are reasons some men become quiet after spending years misunderstood. And there are reasons intelligence sometimes feels heavier than people expect. If this felt familiar, there's probably another layer of yourself you've been trying to understand for a long time without having words for it. And usually the deeper patterns are quieter than people think. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more psychology videos.